Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It is our coverage of the League One. It is week 22, New Year's Day. I'm Tom. That's Ian. Before we get into our predictions, quickly got to highlight a comment from last week from Nicholas Carter, who also, he said, is Portsmouth is starting to look really good this year. Will they win the league? And our response is they really should have won the league by now, but they look great right now. Ronan Curtis definitely needs to be playing in a higher league, and this team is in complete control right now.
Hold the dash!
Yeah, shut up, you.
Oxford, how good are you?
Now, Ian, quickly, how did we do last week in predictions?
Little bit of housekeeping, Thomas. Let's go back to week 18, which was the week where Oxford finally showed their teeth in this league and beat Northampton 4-0. But it was a victory for you, good sir, by 6 points to 4 overall, which means that the series is tied at 8. Boxing Day, with the very few games that were played, was a very poor showing, but we did draw. So it was a 2-2 draw in that one. So what we normally do, we've got a choice. I'm going to throw it open to you, Thomas. We can either have New Year's Day predictions as double points, or you can do an Oxford United 50-50 trivia question.
I'm going to go with double points. I'm going to lead us into this round before you do any more hot dogging.
Who wins?
Accrington Stanley versus top of the table, Portsmouth.
Top of the table, Portsmouth?
Aren't they? Did I get it wrong?
I think you're insulting everybody in the fair city of Lincoln there, Thomas. Second in the league against an absolute donkey Cadden fodder side in Accrington Stanley. It's going to be Pompey victory all day long. I don't need to dwell on this one too much. And I think Pompey will be too strong for Accrington and beat them 2-0.
Ian, you steal my score lines all the time. I'll back Accrington to get a goal. They've been my team this year. 2-1 to the Stanley.
Accrington just got so many games in hand. They really could be they could be top of the league if they win all their games though.
And they will be top of the league soon when they get their 9 points out of the 3 games in hand they have. Prepare thyself.
Bristol Rovers versus Blackpool.
Right. Bristol Rovers play football. Blackpool play football. This match is going to end in a Blackpool victory 2-0.
Oh, I love it when you do those predictions where you act like you really couldn't give a shit. Look, both sides have actually been playing pretty decently recently, and it should be a good game. I hope it goes ahead because every game seems to be dropping like flies in League at the moment, especially League One. It seems to be the most affected league out of all of the top 4 leagues.
I honestly think it's because they have the least money. They're probably doing the least testing outside of maybe League 2. It's just not ideal.
You think there's clubs that have less money in League 2 and they don't seem to get the games called off? There was it's 7 games called off in these midweek fixtures. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But hopefully this one should be played. I actually think this one might be a draw, actually. Both sides are pretty good. And I think this one will be a Desmond 2-2 draw.
Excellent. Swindon Town versus the Athletic Wigan.
Now, Thomas, although there are still well over 20 games to go, plenty of points to play for, and no side is cut adrift, I am touting this one as relegation 6-pointer must-win game for both sides.
I agree.
Who do you want and who will win the game?
I think Wigan are on much better form right now. Both of them drew their last match, but Wigan have picked up something like 8 points out of the last 15 available. They're really, really trying to push up the table. You're 100% right. This is a relegation 6-pointer. And I think the Athletic Wigan will win this match 1-0.
Well, I can't back Swindon to get anything, and you are absolutely right there. Swindon have been on a dreadful run of form. They just about snuck a point with a last-minute equaliser in the last game, but before that it was 4 defeats, and I think we're going to win as well. And do you know what? No, I'm not going to copy you. 2-1 win to the Latics. Floundering Hull City against semi-floundering Charlton Athletic.
Yeah, Hull have just completely fallen apart. It's 3 losses in a row. It's like the carbon copy of last season for them. Charlton, who started the year really well, it's not like the engine's blown out, but the car is definitely stalling. They've got 3 draws in their last 5 games. They got a loss and a win in there as well, but it's like they're having a hard time putting together any sort of run of results. They're not scoring as much as they were. They're not as sound defensively. It's a tough one to predict, Ian. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's a tough one to predict. Hull's those 3 games they've lost in a row as well been like they seem to have got worse in all 3 of those games.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I know Honeyman wasn't there for the game against Pompey, but I'm not sure. It surely can't just be him is the reason why you've like had a dip in form. And then obviously you've had games called off through COVID, which hasn't helped at all either, which never helps. So it seems like a long time since Hull have actually got a win, and those fans will be terrified that it's going to be a repeat of last season where it was a good first half and a terrible second half.
Yeah.
And they need to get back to winning ways, and I'm going to back them to nudge out Charlton in this one, although I feel sorry because I do like Carlton. 2-1 to the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm going to do the inverse of that. 2-1 to Charlton.
Northampton Town versus Sunderland.
Well, Ian, this game really, you feel like has an obvious winner. Sunderland, obviously the probably biggest club in the league. Northampton Town only just got promoted. They've lost 4 on the bounce now. Despite sometimes looking like a really good unit of a team, they do just tend to get blown out of games. One of the worst defenses in the league. But Sunderland, man, I mean, it was only a month ago we were saying what a good run of form they'd finally put together, and now they're down in 11th. Half their matches have been cancelled, but when they have played, they've not looked good.
No. I think the last game they had was a very underwhelming 1-1 draw of AFC Wimbledon. It's not been a wonderful start for Lee Johnson yet. And then obviously all these games being called off, they're going to have such a backlog. It's such a long time since they've actually played. But it's probably the perfect game for them to come back into, because Northampton... I hate to say this, Northampton fans, but for what I've seen of all the sides Oxford have played, definitely look like one of the weakest. Just don't see where you're going to cause too much trouble to this Sunderland side, despite the fact they seem to inexplicably draw these matches rather than win them. But I have to back Sunderland. I think they'll get a 2-0 win.
Yeah, I hate to copy your score, but I'm going to go for 2-0 as well. AFC Wimbledon versus top of the table, Lincoln City.
That is right, Thomas. The city of Lincoln is buzzing at being top of the table, although I am guessing because nobody is allowed out in the streets to celebrate. Come up against that. I mean, they've just been so strong and so solid. And I know they had like 2 losses recently, but they backed that up with 2 very good, impressive victories. I think there were victories with clean sheets as well. Absolutely hammering in the last game as well, I think, of Rochdale or someone. I forget who it was, but they scored like 5 goals, I think. So it was a massive win. Wimbledon coming off a defeat to Oxford, but they looked pretty good in that game, and arguably they could have easily got a draw in that one, or maybe even gone on to win. I mean, it was damn lucky that Joe Pigott wasn't playing, and they'll be hoping that he's back for this one, because he would have surely stuck at least one in that game. But they let Oxford get off to a 2-0 lead, and then they just couldn't get back into the game. But this one's a toughie, isn't it? Tough.
Lincoln are going to win
the
this.
Most solid side
Lincoln
in the league.
are going to win this. They're going to win this. I am betting my house on it. 4-0 to Lincoln.
I don't think that'll be that much. I think this will be a closer game than you think. I think Wimbledon will score as well. But I do think Lincoln will edge it. I think it'll be AFC Wimbledon 1, Lincoln City 2.
Fleetwood Town versus Ipswich Town.
Both these sides you feel like they've fallen off the rails, but Ipswich are sort of like stunt okay over the last 3 games. Although again, it seems like both of these sides haven't played for bloody ages. I mean, Fleetwood, I think there's 3 draws now in a row. Although they have played a couple of games more, they are only 3 points off the playoffs, so it's not like a disaster. They're just going through a bit of a blip. They've had their problems with Ched Evans as well. Oh, this one I think is going to be a draw, although I hate backing Fleetwood to get anything. I think this one's going to be 1-1.
I think Fleetwood are going to win this. These are the sorts of games Fleetwood, for the last couple of years, have played really well in. The questionable ones where you're like, oh, I don't know, they're just so solid. Even when they're playing badly, they're so solid. So Fleetwood, 1-0.
Shrewsbury Town versus Crewe Alexandra.
Well, Shrewsbury Town are no longer anti-football, are they? They're not bottom of the table. They put together 3 wins in their last 5. I mean, they're starting to look like a real footballing outfit, Ian.
Well, absolutely identical record to Crewe over the last 5 games as well. I mean, these 2 sides are obviously, arguably, and probably are the 2 form sides, along with Blackpool in the division at the moment. And Shrewsbury have beaten some great sides as well. I mean, they beat Doncaster recently, 1-0. They're They're not conceding a lot of goals still, though, Tom. So they've still got that basis of what Sam Ricketts had built, and obviously Steve Cottrell's just brought in more of an attacking element to the side. And I think for the first time in a long time, I'm going to be backing Shrewsbury to win a game. I think Shrewsbury are going to win 1-0.
1-0. Right, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, but I mean, no matter what, we say close match, don't we?
We do. Plymouth Argyle.
Green Army.
Versus Gillingham.
Not Green Army. At one point in the season, we were all really impressed by Gillingham, and they were flying up the table and looking good. Then they hit a weird blip, and now they've leveled out, and they're about a mid-table side, which I think is what we thought would happen to them at the beginning of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought we saw them around about that kind of where they are now, maybe as high as like 10th sort of area. Yeah, there'll be times of the season where they get on a good run and be challenging the playoffs, but probably not strong enough overall. But I have to say my usual thing, Thomas. Tonight, Plymouth Argyle play Oxford United, and win, lose or draw, what, and I repeat that, what is going to be left of this Plymouth side when Gillingham roll into town? Oh God, I can't remember his name of the man. So annoying. Ryan Lowe. What is going to be left of his boys after Oxford are done with them? Although I will say, I would still lean towards Plymouth, because I think the fact that they've got fans in their ground makes a huge difference, and has certainly improved them, because they were on a bad run but have done well in the 2 games. I don't know how they've got on against Oxford tonight. So despite what I've just said, I will be backing Plymouth to win. I will be backing Plymouth to win by 2 goals to 1 goal.
I'm going to back them to win 2 goals to no goals.
Ooh, you salty Sally.
Indeed.
We get round to the one game in League One that is worth talking about. We talked about some sides in form, but there is one side that is head and shoulders above all the rest, and they come up against Oxford United. It's time for the main event.
Burton Albion hosting Oxford United.
Of course I'm only joking. Burton are bottom of the league, having a terrible time of it. Only 2 draws out of the last 5 games, with 5 defeats. They've only won 2 games all season. Oxford have been much improved. We are going to be doing a preview for this game, which will probably come out Thursday or Friday, depending on how quickly Tom does his research on the traitor Nigel Clough and what he's left behind. But I am expecting Oxford to win this game. As I said, they have been really solid. It's a difficult game tonight against Plymouth, but I do expect Oxford to win this game. They look so much better at the back, so much better with Stevens in the team. Goran will be back in for this one as well. And, they've got Taylor in the goals, which is massive. So, although I don't think it will be a thrashing, I think Oxford will get a very nice, comfortable 2-0 win. Yeah,
it's going to be 3-1 to Oxford United. Did you say 2-1?
2-0.
2-0.
We get clean sheets now, Tom. We get clean sheets.
No, don't play with me. Burton have been terrible at the back. They're shipping goals for fun, but the one thing they're also doing is scoring a fair amount. And Oxford United, especially in the Wimbledon match we watched, do give up a lot of chances in games. So I think Burton will get a goal out of this. But Oxford are starting to look like the team we thought they'd be at the beginning of the season. They're on quite a good run of form. They haven't lost in 6 or 7 games, I don't think, now. So up the Yellows, 3-1.
As always, what I've said with these things, I don't know why Tom backs Oxford to win. He's under no obligation to do so, but he's a crazy person, and hopefully that plays into my hands over the course of the season, although it's not doing that well for me at the moment. But ramblings aside, we do hope that you enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up. It helps us out so much on YouTube. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and we know that most of you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit the notify bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Go and check out the affiliate links for Amazon and Audible down in the description. We've also got some charities that we help support down there as well. So click on those links. Also go and check out Grandstand Betters. There are great tips to the website. If you like betting on American sports and on football, they're going to give you some great tips. Follow them. You'll win yourself some cash. final thing from me is make sure you give a comment down below. If you give a comment down below, 1, an angel goes to heaven, and 2, your comment may be read out at the start of the next League One video. Thomas, it's been a great year. Hopefully this one's going to be good too. Not a great year for general, but good year for us. And have you got anything else to add?
Yellows, yellows, yellows.
Finally, some sense from the man.